Today we're going to make an easy and delicious one-pan Greek-style meatballs over potatoes with the best sauce. Okay, so we're gonna go over the ingredients. Do not be deterred. This is an easy recipe, even though it looks like there's plenty of ingredients here. So I have them kind of sectioned out. The recipe is also sectioned out. I always prefer to write a recipe that way. And we write all of our recipes, sipandfeast.com. The recipe is linked always in the description, okay? The first part of this is we're gonna make a ladolemono sauce. This is like a Greek lemon and oil sauce that is delicious. We put this on that Greek lamb and potatoes that we did a while back, maybe 2 years ago. Popular dish, people love it. And the whole point of this recipe is to kind of like get those flavors, but in a quicker, more like almost like a weekday dish. So for that ladolemono sauce, we have 1/4 cup of fresh lemon juice. I took most of the zest off of that one lemon. The recipe says 1 teaspoon of lemon zest. I'm gonna use 2 teaspoons Dijon mustard, 2 cloves of garlic that I turned into paste, and 2 teaspoons of dried Greek oregano, or any type of oregano, and a cup of extra virgin olive oil. You could throw all this in the blender. This is part 2 of our one pot, one pan meal series. And I always, I feel like for these ones, it's not even not enough just to be one pot, like cooking. I feel like it's also better to not have like a ton of mess. So you could use a blender if you like, but I would just whisk this and it'll be totally fine. We need this sauce because we're gonna use this sauce to roast our potatoes. And for the potatoes, I said 5 large Yukon Golds, but these were small, so I bought more. We just wanna fill a 9x13 baking dish, maybe 2 levels. Don't go more than that. Don't put don't put 5 pounds of potatoes in the dish. I got a 1/2 cup of low sodium chicken stock that I'll just use in there, and then 2 teaspoons of oregano also on top of it. And then we're gonna use a good amount of this ladolemono sauce to put right on top of the potatoes while we roast them. And we're gonna roast these potatoes ahead of time because the meatballs don't take nearly as long as the potatoes. Okay, and then finally for the meatballs, the ingredients I have is 1 pound of ground chuck, and 1 pound of ground lamb. Now, most of the Greek meatball recipes I came across, they were mostly pan fried, which we're not doing today. We're baking them on top of potatoes, but they were also done with beef. So you could just do straight beef if you like, but I feel like the lamb is going to be really nice. So we have 1 pound of each. 2 slices of white bread that are just kind of left out overnight so they're a little stale, but you can just throw them in the toaster to crisp them up as well. And we'll soak that bread. We'll make a panade for meatballs, which we've done many times on this channel. If you don't want to do that, you could just do straight breadcrumbs, like store-bought breadcrumbs, just do a 1/2 cup and that'll be fine. 1 medium onion, we're gonna grate that, turn that basically into a liquid, and that's gonna put a lot more moisture in the meatballs and give them great flavor. 1/2 cup of parsley that I minced. That looks more than a 1/2 cup, but it's gonna be fine. You could always have more parsley. If you want to make it more Greek, I would put mint probably, or like oregano, but parsley's great in any type of meatball. 2 eggs, that's gonna bind them, it's gonna hold our meatballs together. 3 cloves of garlic paste. Okay, we're gonna mix garlic in this too. 2 teaspoons Diamond Crystal Kosher salt, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, and a 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. That is definitely gonna Greek these meatballs up. And these are Greek inspired. This isn't like a Greek recipe. Like it's like kind of just like putting things together. You could put cinnamon in these too, I think, which would make it nice. Some thyme, make it your own. This is the whole thing with this channel. Make these recipes your own. I'm giving you a base here. You can do it. You can do lots of things by, experimenting once you get the hang of it. I have a 1/2 cup of low sodium chicken stock and 2 more teaspoons of oregano for our potatoes that we're going to roast. Okay, so let's make this sauce first. Okay, for the sauce again, 1/4 cup of lemon juice, fresh lemon juice. Let's get all that lemon zest in there. You don't have to do the lemon zest if you don't want to. Gives a little bit more of a punch. 2 teaspoons Dijon mustard, 2 cloves garlic. You could put more if you like more garlic, but the raw garlic is very strong in here. 2 teaspoons dried oregano and olive oil. I have extra virgin, but you can use regular if you want, or even light olive oil, or you could even do a mix of like 1/2 of a neutral oil to save you money, okay? Because olive oil is expensive. I'm not slowly drizzling it in. I'm just gonna whisk it together, and I'll whisk it again later and it'll be fine. No matter what type of whisk you use, a blender's gonna do a better job. We'll mix it again, right? We're gonna need it a couple times. We're gonna need it for those potatoes. Now, first thing you gotta do is you gotta put salt and pepper in here. We didn't taste it, we gotta see. There's no salt and pepper yet, so let's get some in it. Okay, some salt. Give it a little taste. Good. All right, so we got some potatoes here. Yukon Golds, but you can use any potatoes you like. These are cleaned already. The smaller you make these, the quicker they're going to cook. All right, but we're doing this a two-part way. We're gonna par cook these first. This recipe is extremely similar to the Greek lemon chicken and potatoes. That was a recent one, a very popular video. You guys really liked it. So that one, I cut the potatoes larger, but we're using chicken thighs, and chicken thighs, you know, you can let chicken thighs cook for over an hour. We want to be a little bit more expedient here with our potatoes. So, you know, if you cut these a little smaller, and I'm not going crazy, but I would say like 1-inch cubes, all right, like that. It's gonna cook a lot quicker, all right? You're probably gonna save about 20 minutes of time on it, which is what we wanna do. I forgot to tell you, put your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Tara, how much is that in Celsius?
Hold on, allow me to compute that.
And that's how much potatoes I have right now, okay? This much. So we'll just like test so we don't cut them all up and cut up too much, so I got that much left.
That is 218 degrees Celsius.
218 Celsius? Mm-hmm. Listen, I'm not soaking these in water. You can do that. I think I did it in the other video. You can, you know, if you got time, do it. Okay, rinse them, be fancy, pull some starch out of them, you know. I think I'm gonna do one more potato. But again, you know, if you wanna chef it up and, you know, you wanna soak those, go ahead. That's nice. So that's what I meant about that much, that type of layer. Give your lemon sauce a little bit more of a whisk, okay, just so it comes back together. You can measure this. So we did 1 cup of oil and we have a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. So you have roughly, you know, 2/3 of a cup, like if you want to do exactly half of it. But I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna do whatever feels right to me, you know? The nice thing about this sauce is this is gonna be for later, okay? So that's more than enough right now. Maybe that much, okay, here we go. Okay, you can get your hands in there if you want, or just give it a little bit of a mix with something. Okay, just get them coated. Oh, it's so good. It smells so good already. I mean, these are like the easiest dishes, and the flavor is just incredible when you make them. So this is a 1/2 cup of low sodium chicken stock, right? This is similar to how all these Greek dishes are done. You just pour it in the corner so you're not pulling all your oil off. All right, just like that. So this is like the Greek dishes they always cook, you know, the liquid absorbs into the potatoes, makes them kind of soft, not super crispy. It's a thing about these Greek dishes, you're not supposed to have the crispy potatoes, okay? If you do that in Greece, you get in big trouble, you know? Oregano, some pepper. You can put a little bit of salt now, but you don't need to.
It's a lot of pepper.
I don't think too much came out. Did it? Yeah, I don't know. Looks pretty good to me. Okay. So I'm gonna bake these for 25 minutes. That's going to speed up our cooking process immensely, and it's gonna give us time to make our meatballs, pop them out, put the meatballs on. It's gonna be delicious. Okay, 425 degree Fahrenheit oven, or 2-something Celsius. And how much was it Celsius again?
218.
218. Okay, we're gonna make some meatballs. How many meatballs have I made on this channel? I've probably done 20, 30 recipes. I like to do it different each and every time to show you. I actually had an epiphany, like if you wanna get like the most tender meatball ever, it's everybody gives you like wrong information. They're like, you gotta do a panade, or you gotta put ricotta in there, and you gotta barely mix it. Honestly, the best way to get a really tender meatball is just gently form them, don't overmix, and just put them right in a sauce, like when you're making Sunday sauce. Don't pan, sear them, don't bake them, just put them right in the sauce. They come out the most tender that way. But we're not doing that today. We're baking them, and they're gonna be fine. They're still gonna be delicious. 2 pieces of bread, okay? Just remove the ends of the bread, okay? And you can hear it like crunching. And honestly, you could probably just do 1 piece of bread here. It'd probably be fine. I don't want to keep using bowls, but I guess I should here.
Well, it's 1 pan.
I gotta soak it, so I'm gonna have to pour the liquid out. With water or milk, it does not make a difference here, okay? Just get it to just submerged. Just get it completely soaked. That's my oven, by the way. So it just hit 425, so now they're going in. Just give it a few minutes so they get completely saturated. While that is happening, let's grate the onion. Okay, so I have a medium onion here. And honestly, food processor, it's easier if you don't care about like another dish, because you won't have to be sitting here grating an onion, crying and all that. Okay, box grater. I don't want to go on super small. It's going to take forever, but we'll try the bigger one to start. Yeah, that's fine. You're not going to be able to do every last bit of it, so that's another advantage of the food processor. You won't have any waste. All right, any large piece like this I don't want in there. All right, so I'm gonna remove that. That's pretty good. This bread now is gonna fall apart. It's gonna just break apart. So it's only been in there for about like 3 minutes, 5 minutes. All right, so just take these 2 pieces out. Squeeze all this water out. See that? That's 2 pieces of bread there. See how little that is? Keep squeezing it out, okay? Dump all this water out. We need this pan. I'm just gonna dry it off so I'm not putting too much extra water in here. Okay, just like that. Here is this mashed up piece of bread. Take a fork and just kind of break it up. Okay, this is all we're gonna use for our breadcrumb mixture. So it's not much. That's just 2 pieces of bread that essentially turns into nothing. I'm just kind of like spreading it apart here. This is an 8-quart bowl, but even a larger bowl would be better. This is that like lamb that comes like in a package, that square package. So it's super compressed already and it's like super mixed, over mixed, but you know, you work with what you have, the ingredients you have. But that's another thing, like, you know, if you try to make meatballs from scratch and you buy a piece of chuck at, you know, a whole piece of chuck and you put it right in your food processor, you know, how you would make a fresh like homemade burger. You know, that would help too. Like, again, if you want to like super chef it up, make it really fancy. But I get that, you know, the majority of you don't want that, you know. All right, so I'm just like spreading this apart here. Here's the nutmeg. Okay, that's half a teaspoon of nutmeg. 2 teaspoons Diamond Crystal Kosher salt and half a teaspoon black pepper. I'd probably do more salt, but I think it's gonna be all right with all the flavor we have from the lemon. Typically you would wanna do like 1 teaspoon of regular fine sea salt, iodized salt, whatever, per pound of meat. So we're using essentially half the amount of salt because Diamond Crystal, it takes up double the amount of volume per weight. All right, essentially we're just gonna add all our other ingredients in here. Okay, I'll just mix that up a tiny bit to try to get the bread a little bit mixed in there. It's so little amount of bread compared to the meat. Here is that onion, that's that whole grated onion. You can see how a lot of it's like liquid as I pour that in there. Right. This onion alone is gonna just make these meatballs very, very moist, juicy, and super flavorful. Here's all the parsley. Okay, recipe says a half a cup, but that's more. 3 cloves garlic paste. Try to mix that garlic so it doesn't, nobody gets a huge piece of it. And then I'm just gonna start with 1 beaten egg for now, okay? Just 1. And we'll use a second one if we have to. We always test our recipes. It's almost always 2 times before we make a video here. But I've been making this dish, like a dish like this forever. But I've typically been doing it like the Italian style, which I think is a little bit more basic. You know, it doesn't have any of that nice lemon sauce. So these are gonna be very moist meatballs. Yeah, you know, honestly, they're gonna probably lose most of their shape. If you want to stiffen them up a little bit, you can add some like commercial, you know, breadcrumbs because these are very, very wet. Using a little bit of water, dipping your hands in every couple meatballs, especially if you're doing this without gloves, it'll prevent most of the meat mixture from sticking. And then I just have a parchment paper lined baking sheet here to put them on. So I'm gonna go for like 1.5 to 1.5 diameter, maybe 2-inch diameter meatballs. I'm probably gonna like set these up over here and then re-roll them right when I throw them on top of the potatoes, but they're gonna compress because they're super light, okay? If you want these to hold their shape a little bit more, add a little bit more breadcrumb, dry breadcrumb. But these are gonna be nice and tender. And honestly, the way I'm doing this here, if you don't want meatballs, like you can make like anything. You can make a patty. You can make like 6 patties, just throw them on top. So I'm gonna continue to roll these. I'll probably get about 15 of them, I'd say, roughly. Okay, so it's been 23 minutes instead of 25, but I'm gonna pull them out anyway. We gave them a nice head start here. Do not make a concern about overcooking your potatoes. The lamb and potatoes, the potatoes are cooked for 4 hours, okay? They get beautiful, these Greek potatoes. They're like, it's saturated with all the liquid. All right, we'll just check, okay? They're getting there. This is the exact what we want, like the timing. They're gonna be perfect after we finish cooking them with the delicious meatballs on top. I want you to, right now, lower the heat to 375 degrees in the oven. And just so like you know, so these meatballs are pretty much would cover all the potatoes, so I'm probably gonna cook like 4 or 5 of them separately. So either use a larger dish, which I probably should have, you know, or just crowd them, okay? But I got 14 out of this mix, so I would say probably fit 12 of these size on here comfortably. You can try to nestle them in, but you don't have to. The nice fat, all the juices from the meat is all going to drip on top of the potatoes here. And that's the point of the dish. Be careful when you're doing this so you don't like touch the pan. Probably could fit them all, but I think it's going to look better if you don't put them all. So you'll see some potatoes. So what do I got? 5. I got 11 in here. Probably squeeze one more in there. Okay. My oven now is at 375. I'll let that come down a bit. We're gonna cook these for about 25 more minutes to 30 minutes, maybe 35. You could just use a thermometer and check the internal temperature of the meatball. You're using ground meat here, so you really want to, ground lamb and ground beef, you really want to cook these to 160 degrees Fahrenheit, okay? And we can broil them for the last couple minutes to get nice color. I think that'll be perfect. Okay, so listen. We're making a Greek dish, Greek inspired. Now, I would say make a tzatziki sauce would be good, would be, you know, again, more traditional. But I actually think it's a good idea to do the white sauce from, you know, halal places. If you go to the city, there's, you know, all the trucks. And then they have those places, they're all around the country now. It's like all these franchises. They're like, what are they, halal guys?
Halal Hut, Shah's Halal.
Shah's Halal. They're, you know, they're all the same. If you look up online, the ingredients for the sauce, it's like sour cream, mayonnaise, sugar, and then very thinned down. So Tara, you found one from Little Spice Jar right now, is it called?
Yeah, it was actually the first one that popped up on
Let's
Google.
do it.
It's like halal cart white sauce.
Tara, guide me through it. So what do we need? We need a half cup of sour cream.
Yep.
That's about a half cup.
1/3 of a cup of mayonnaise.
1/3 of a cup of mayo. All right, we could just play around with these proportions if we want after, okay?
Tablespoon of white vinegar.
Tablespoon of white vinegar. Is there any other acid in there?
2 teaspoons of lemon juice.
All right, I'm just gonna use lemon juice then. I don't think it needs to have vinegar. I don't think it needs to have both. All right, so I'm calling an audible here.
There's also 2 teaspoons of water in this. So this is like usually when they make it for you at the cart, at the halal cart, they use a squeeze bottle. And squeeze it on.
That's
why this is able to come out of the squeeze bottle.
And you know, this is a little bit like ad-libbed and audible, but it's not so much. I did plan this. That's why last night or 2 nights ago, I ordered a nice squeeze bottle from Amazon. Okay?
You did?
Yes, I did.
You just had me look up the recipe now.
Because I don't know the recipe.
Okay.
I didn't, and I looked online like just to familiarize myself, and most of them were, you know, they were all like just a bunch of white ingredients mixed together.
Okay, did you put the water in?
Yeah, no, I'll use water to thin. I'll thin it to my consistency. And that's what you should do with this, you know. If you're following any recipe, and I'm not picking on Little Spice Jar. I don't even know who Little Spice Jar is. If it's not to your liking, you know, with the liquid amount, just add more liquid, you know, to get it thinned out. You want it to be, it's nice and thin the way they serve these. There's sugar in it, right?
Yeah, there's no garlic though.
I know there's no garlic, so I still think I have to put garlic in it. How much sugar?
All right, so she says to do either between 1/2 to 2 teaspoons of sugar.
Okay, what else did I not put in here?
She uses a teaspoon of dried parsley and then a 1/4 teaspoon black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon kosher salt.
Yeah, it's definitely too thick right now. So here's the water, clean water I had from before.
Just so you know, a lot of the reviews say that they would use less sugar.
Oh, yikes! Well, maybe I think I used less than a teaspoon. Okay, so look, that's still too thick compared to the places we get it at, right?
Yeah, it's pretty thin.
Yeah. It's like Greek tzatziki is normally very thick. Most Greek places, that's how they'll do it. And then Indian raita is very thin, okay? And the raita uses sheep's milk yogurt versus the Greek ones use just like, they taste different. They're a little different.
Yeah, but I think raita has mint in it and
and vegetables
like some other
and stuff,
things.
carrots.
Yeah, I mean they're both yogurt-based sauces, but they're definitely different.
Yeah. So I've been putting a lot of water in here to get it thin enough. All right, I'm gonna taste it. It doesn't have any garlic in it, and you know, honestly, you can just do garlic powder. I think it's good. I probably put too much sugar in it, but it's good. It needs more acid actually. So I have more of the lemon. Oh, I think that's a good consistency now. I think that's good. So I got this nice, these are OXO. I love these. These are the things that I always use for all my olive oil and vinegars. And that's actually a perfect amount for this meal here. You know, some people might want it, some might not. The thing that's great about these squeezed ones is they don't leak, ever. Even oil. I bought so many other brands and they're just like never working. Anyway, enough selling this bottle. We got about, what, 10 minutes on those meatballs. Okay, so it's been going for what? It's probably like 26 minutes, I think. So I'll show you. It looks phenomenal already, like you see that. Oh, and the smell. Now, check your meatballs. Depending on the size of your meatballs, if you made them smaller, they're gonna already be done. This is just an instant read thermometer, which works great. So pop that in there. Try to get the center of it. I don't know if you can see that. It says 152. So check another big one. 158. Yeah, these are good. I mean, they're pretty much good. I could tell they're super tender and juicy, and the smell is amazing. I'm gonna turn my broiler on. So I got the broiler on, I'll let it heat up for a second. So 2 minutes in the broiler is gonna crisp these up completely. They'll be ready to go. I can't wait to have this. It just smells so good.
Are you gonna pour the remaining sauce on them?
Honestly, you can, or it could be served at the table. We'll see what the taste tester wants. Yeah, so watch carefully because things, depending on how hot you have it in your broiler and how hot your broiler is, you can destroy your whole dish in a matter of seconds. Okay, and we're gonna bring down the taste tester right now. So listen, I just wanna be honest with you here. Different shirt, I have a hat on. This is the next day. So Tara and I, and James, we all ate it last night. That being said, James, I wanna do another taste test with, on here. It got too late last night. James was after school activities and everything. So James, this is gonna be a little different than last night. I have the white sauce that I made on here that you didn't have. Also, I do think that feta is better on it, but you don't like feta, right?
I don't mind it.
You don't mind it.
Yeah.
I had it with feta last night. I thought it was really good, but James doesn't want it. Do you want to try the white sauce, or do you want more of the ladolemono sauce?
What's in the white sauce?
It's kind of like the halal sauce from like Shaw's.
I'll definitely have that.
Yeah, let me do a little shake.
It's my favorite thing.
Maybe do on one of them, and then maybe I'll do this sauce on a different one.
White sauce, way better.
Hold on, I don't think it's really on you.
It didn't get on you.
Yeah, it didn't get on you.
It just got everywhere else.
I only shook it because it was overnight. I don't think it needs to constantly be shaken.
It's fun. It's fun to shake it.
Isn't true. I just like the white sauce.
I still think the feta is the best. Do you like some potatoes and meatballs with your white sauce?
It's so good. Like, it's still not as good as the halal hut white sauce, but it's pretty good. I'm gonna give this 2 separate ratings. Without white sauce and with white sauce.
Okay.
I'm gonna give this like a solid 7 to 8 out of 10 without the white sauce.
7.8 out of 10?
7 to 8 out of 10. It depends like how much you like it. I think it's a little bland without it. And I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10 with the white sauce.
Oh God, I guess everybody's gonna want to make the white sauce. All right, I'm gonna have to put the white sauce, I guess, with the recipe. I still think feta is even better.
I liked it with the white sauce. My only critique of it when I had it was that I wanted more garlic.
Yeah.
Remember I had said that?
Yeah, we're going to adjust the
So
recipe. We're going to increase the garlic.
That was my critique of it. I also think mint would have been good with it too, which I know, you say in the recipe. That you can
instead of
use
the parsley, or do mint and parsley?
No, I think both. I do think both. I really liked it. Like, I love the ladolemono sauce. I could put that on anything and be happy.
If I do make an adjustment to the recipe, because we haven't posted it yet, obviously, it will come across the screen, the ingredient, if I increased it. I think maybe even not just the nutmeg, but maybe a little bit of oregano with the meatballs, maybe even a little bit of like cinnamon. I actually do think it's kind of what's missing. The difference between this and an Italian meatball is an Italian meatball has so much cheese in it, okay? Parmesan or pecorino, which does a ton of the flavoring. So by this not having it, you kind of got to increase all those other seasonings and spices.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why you felt like it was better with the feta, because that is giving you that salty.
The feta was delicious.
Salty bite that you were looking for in a meatball.
Yeah. All right, James, anything else you want to add to this?
Maybe more white sauce.
More white sauce, okay.